Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for another Grand Prix here in the European Racing Series. This time we are going around the streets of Singapore, and I'm Ben Raggan McConnell, and joining me on the caster's desk is Jamie M. Caster Elder. How you doing?
I'm not too sure, man. How are you?
I am not too shabby indeed. Much better than my poor dog is feeling at the minute with all these lovely fireworks going off. And we've had someone who sadly leave. I think he might actually be able to get in there still.
He's already in, according to the screen on the left.
Yep, perfect. So it doesn't matter if he needs a re-invite or not. But we are in Singapore. It is, interestingly, daylight.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a bit murky, but it's still daylight. Obviously, they're just allowing whatever weather comes on, or daylight comes on. The yellow flag in sector one, that's... I believe he has a qualifying ban anyway, so... It's quite interesting that there's a yellow flag in sector one as a result of said retirement, but... is anyone going to move today, do you reckon?
I'm not sure. I think everybody's a little bit confused. We've lost fixation as well. Something to note, by the way, there was an issue that was caused because the network. We are re-hosting. Steam is dead again. So yeah, the reason why we're having all these issues is because Steam actually died right before we were supposed to go live. Yeah, you can see everybody's leaving right now. I'm not sure how long we're going to be gone for. Hopefully, we shouldn't be very long at all. But you know what? I'll tell you what we'll do. I don't know how this sounds to you. We can just change the scene. Alright. Leave the game first of all. Change the scene back to this. There we go. And we can just talk about Formula 1 and about life. Now, we can't talk about the official F1 because there may still be people that haven't seen it.
I think we should, considering it's Tuesday.
Yeah, alright, okay.
And how can you have not heard news? If you've been active on social media in the last 48 hours, you would have heard it by now.
Yeah, and not just heard it once, you would have heard it a fair few times.
At least 6. Best fans.
Best fans. I mean, in terms of the actual Grand Prix, it was
boring.
It was not that entertaining, was it? Let's be honest. I mean, the qualifying was good initially. Norris setting the fastest lap in Q1 was just madness. I really enjoyed that, actually. I honestly, I was expecting a little bit more from him, I think, to be honest.
Well, he did it on soft tyres when the front runners were on mediums, didn't he? That's what helps. He's the best of the rest, those McLarens. And yeah, so if you stick on the softer compound, you're of course going to go faster than guys who did their lap 5 minutes ago on medium tyres, aren't you? Track's evolving. You're always going to go faster on that final lap, and that just proved that the case is there. It reminded me very much of Fernando Alonso a few years ago, quite a few years ago now, probably 4, maybe 3 seasons, or even more actually. British Grand Prix. It rained in qualifying. He got out there on the final lap of Q1 on dry tyres and put in the fastest time. I was like, yes, Fernando! Of course, this was when McLaren were even worse than they are now. Okay, they're not bad now, but they're not at the dizzy heights they were once before.
Well, I mean, I think it's unfair to say that they're bad this year because they're really not bad at all. Like, honestly, I think they're the 4th fastest team. If you take, so say Mercedes being the fastest currently, I would have said Ferrari up until they stopped cheating. I mean, till suddenly they just lost pace. So I would now put Red Bull 2nd, then Ferrari, and then there's no one else. I mean, Renault's maybe. They've probably had more of an average situation, but I've seen many a time the McLaren's passing the runners.
Yeah, I mean, if you've paid attention to, I believe it's on Reddit, is the tier 1.5 standings. It's basically, if you take out the top 6 drivers, that's what the championship is. They are top of that, 1st and 2nd, I believe. The only issue I've really got with Lando this year is he's not outdone his teammate all too often. But again, he's a rookie, so you can't be too hard on him. No. Carlos has got many years under his belt already. So
yeah,
we'll see if that changes.
Carlos has actually been... Before this year, I didn't really rate Carlos Sainz. And it's probably a mixture of Sky just not giving him the publicity that he necessarily needed, as in like on-screen action, because I think he did quite a fair bit realistically. But I mean, this year in particular, now I think Lando's really brought him out of his shell quite a lot.
Yeah, it
Lando
seems
just
that.
seems to really he brings the character out of everybody that he's around. And honestly, Carlos Sainz is actually now looking more like a human being. And I've got to give a lot of credit to McLaren just for allowing them to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you saw them not so much towards the end of the season, but definitely in the early parts of the season. They were playing F1, they're playing iRacing. Lando was streaming. I think most people remember the iRacing at Spa, the 12-hour something race that he did where Max Verstappen's brake pedal actually broke. Not the game brake pedal, his physical brake pedal broke mid-race, and he had to try and stop the car by weaving it and throwing it about so he could recover it. They still won the race. You put two
Which
F1
is
drivers in the car.
madness to think about it.
Well, they had, what, a 90-second or something delay after they recovered the car?
Yeah, something like that.
But you put two F1 drivers in the car, even in esports, they're still quite quick. I'd be interested to see, actually, if we could do, like, 10 F1 drivers versus 10 of the top esports drivers and see how they compare. Be quite interesting, I would have thought.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, the thing is, with Veloce, that could possibly happen, you know. They have a lot of interaction with real-life drivers and a lot of the esports drivers, too.
Your boy James has just landed himself a nice big contract from what I saw.
Well. We shall see. But here we go. Back in again. This time it looks like everybody seems to be alive and well for now. Touch wood. Don't want to tempt fate at all. But you will also notice it is now nighttime. I did point out it's daytime. Maybe we need to change it up a little bit. But we're only a little bit late. We're still fine. We do have the drivers here. And that's Mercedes garage I see getting ready to go out.
There's only one
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Can only be spicy.
Yeah. And there's movement further down there at Renault. Is that going to be Max or Copy? Max, I think, is my guess.
So Duxby has the qualifying ban, I believe.
Oh, it wasn't even Renault I was looking at. Who was I looking at?
Mark. It's Mark that's come out.
I've got no sound.
Lou is ahead. Press escape and then press it again.
I have no engine sounds.
Maybe turn it down.
No, I wouldn't turn it down. Let's do it again. No, that's quite annoying actually. I can hear the background sounds, as in
the
announcer.
noise.
Yeah. Let me see if I can just tweak sound systems. I don't believe I've changed it, but keep on talking.
Well, I was going to mention about the top 3 predictions because Beaker and Yonti have done really well in this league. They've really sort of just shown how good they can be. On a track like this, though, I'm not sure how great they're going to be able to deliver. This is a really, really tough and grueling track to put down some pace on. Yonti is fast as hell, and I think likelihood is he's going to be...
Sorry, I was just aboard with Max. I may not be able to hear anything, but I can see when he's hit a wall.
He's used to it now.
Yeah, I can't... I don't think anything's working for me today. I can't even change camera angles. What?
I'm told Max has a race ban.
Why is he doing driving?
Apparently he can only do an installation lap.
You mean a qualifying ban, not a race ban?
No, I'm told he has a race ban.
If he's got a race ban, why is he...
Quali ban.
Yes,
I was
going to say, if he's got a race ban, he shouldn't be here.
Yeah, I was curious, but I mean, he definitely typed the word race ban.
Or maybe he should spend less time typing. I've just quit the lobby to try and get the sounds back. I should be back momentarily.
Okay, well, in terms of the 1, 2, 3, I mean, Mark is fast. He has really demonstrated his pace overall. I think he might be... I mean, I don't think this is... I think we've seen him twice in this league now, is that right? I don't think I've seen him... As far as I know, this is the first time I've seen him do it.
I've seen Mark in other leagues, and he is quick, yes.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I raced with him in the MRC, but I don't know if this is the first time he's raced in MRC. Sorry, in ERS.
Trying to think. I can't remember the time that he has. But yeah, I don't think he's going to be... He's definitely not going to be quicker than Yonti. is probably in this grid P2, maybe P3 to copy. Fragioko's sliding about a little bit.
Do you think Beaker's slower than him?
Don't know, depends on the track. I have not seen Beaker on this track in a very long time because we don't normally do this track. This is the first time we get into it in all our leagues, isn't it? So
Yeah.
we'll see, won't we? I'm always going to tip Fragioko to do well because I think he can do well as long as he doesn't put it in the wall. He hasn't yet.
Oh. No. I think Fragioco has been very. I was about to use the word good, but now he's fixed his internet issues. He's been able to deliver a lot more strong results. But when it's come to the last few results, he's especially if you look at last week when he was in Italy, his home Grand Prix, and he just couldn't quite do what was required, and it was sad really because you'd have thought that would have been a track you would have enjoyed the most, but no, sadly not. Spicy though says the fastest lap with a 1:35.249. No one else even slightly close, but he has done it on the soft compound tyre, so it's natural that that's going to be quick. I don't know. I mean, Spicy is someone who's naturally quite quick anyway.
Yeah.
Is that? I mean, I don't think that's going to be pole time, almost guaranteed. But
Dennis.
I don't know if we're going to get into the low 34s or if we're just going to stay around the mids.
Well, Dennis won't be setting a time, that's for sure. He doesn't have much of a front wing on the right-hand side. End plate's missing. There's a few other damages we can't see, and he just gives the wall a kiss. Just to show that it's gone, and there's nothing left now because he's on 63% damage. Yeah, we still haven't actually finalised the top three, have we? Or have you? And I've not done it. I'm going for obviously Yonti. I'd be stupid to look anywhere else.
Oh, don't go for Beaker.
I wasn't. I was going to go for Spicy next, then Copy.
See, Beaker is fast. I know he can be quick, but I mean, I think in the qualifying, I don't think he's going to be in the top three. I'm probably going to put him around about P4, maybe P5. I think Yonti is going to obviously take it. I think Copy will probably be P2. I think Spicy will be P3. Is how I see it. When it comes to the race, though, my prediction, I don't think I can even beat. I don't think Beaker's actually gonna. I want to have faith in him. I do. I really do. But I don't think Beaker's gonna make it to the end of the race. He seems to struggle when it comes to these sorts of tracks to just avoid damage, especially in the run-in towards turn 1, 2, and 3 on this track. It's just such a snaky little section and such a hard braking zone for turn 1. When your tyres are cold, and if you stay on the hard tyres, which I mean realistically only 2 people are gonna do, then you may end up with a fair few collisions.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he may, if he starts towards the back, he'll at least have a little bit of free air on that run into turn 1. That should help him out a little bit. Fragioko is out on a second flying lap on those hard tyres. Needs to be a 38.8 from his previous. I do have my telemetry open, and I can keep you updated as and when he sets deltas if he doesn't lock up too hard. And he's currently up, which is good to see.
So the tyre strategy is really a medium to hards. Ultimately, softs get destroyed in this track. I mean, if you remember 2018 when you had hyper softs and ultra softs and then just general softs, the hyper softs, obviously were effectively what the softs are now, they would just get destroyed. Yeah, after 4 laps, you couldn't use them. So touching the hyper softs was just near enough pointless. In terms of this situation now, you're going to want to stay on the mediums and go hards if you're staying in the top 10 realistically, or if you can get onto the hards and still get up there, then go for it. You'll be in the best scenario come the end of the race. But I'm seeing times already on the softs. Interestingly, both of the house drivers have gone for the soft tyres, and you'd have thought that they would know that's a bad idea.
Do they have their race engineer today?
They do indeed. Earlier, one of the race engineer was actually being serenaded by Yonti earlier whilst we were having technical difficulties. And apparently it was getting quite warm and misty in there.
Oh,
steamy.
Frederick has gone a second faster. Doesn't really move up, but actually I think that was invalidated. Yes, it was. You hit a 37.8 on those hards, which would have been a very good time, battling Mark up there for P4, but invalidated in the final sector, so all for now at the end of the day. As Drusev jumps up to P4 himself.
Yeah, 1.5 seconds off the pace of Beaker. I mean, that's 2.3 seconds. off the pace of Spicy. I mean, yeah, granted, softs are going to be a lot better on this track than you would expect, but surely not a 2.3 gap. That's far too much.
Well, what strategy are they planning then? Are they planning softs to hards and hope they can make it? Are they two-stopping, which...
That's got to be a two-stop.
Well, I think it's going to have to. I mean, you don't often see in F1 lobbies a two-stop strategy. We saw it in Canada, didn't we? Softs, mediums, I think they were going, which was the optimal strategy. That was the winning strategy at the end of the day. But I think it all depends as well on who is underneath that car. If you put someone like myself or you under it for a two-stop, we might not do very well. You put someone like Yonti, who's got outright pace here, he can make it work. He'll get those extra overtakes that he has to do. And what have you seen?
It's just dawned on me.
What's that?
It's just dawned on me. They're doing softs, mediums.
You reckon
And that,
soft
I mean,
mediums?
that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Mediums is brilliant on this track. You can definitely do it mediums to mediums. If you could one-stop mediums to mediums, you could do it 100%, easy. But now they're doing soft mediums will allow them to actually properly push. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. I think if Beaker doesn't crash out, I think it's 1-2 Haas. If that is what they're doing, I'm pretty sure it's a 1-2 Haas.
Well, we'll see. Dennis does come across the line finally, puts in the time. 7th faster for him, a 1:37.8. And yeah, so a few times coming in. We've only got top 10 and 2 non-qualifiers. Obviously got qualifying bans to face. One of which is the Max Rockets, I think we're going to have to call him. Whether or not
he's just
Rockets
thanked me
is good.
for giving him the strat. The interesting thing is, he thinks he's going to get into the second stint.
Interesting, he thinks he's going to get into the second lap. Yeah, we can talk about him quite a lot. He's one of the members of your community. He has pace.
Our community.
Your community.
Our.
The community. He does have raw pace. It is just whether or not, in a track like this, he can actually get a chance to use the raw pace.
Yeah.
It is raw pace because it is very raw, and yeah, so he will be fun. And as always, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of extra pit stops, or maybe an extra pit stop from him. He may end up having to go softs, mediums, or something daft, because he made a mistake like on the first lap and had to pit very early. But then you say the mediums to mediums can last. We'll soon see.
Yep.
Alright, so who are we looking at? BK, he's on a flying lap. I was looking at Yawn for a while and he wasn't actually on a flying lap. Actually, no, he says he is. Yonti, sorry.
I was properly confused there. I thought Jon was... Jon does race in this, doesn't he? I remember last week he actually did a last lap battle with Copy and did the most sensational overtake pretty much ever around Copy on the Parabolica to get the P2 away from him. It was so beautiful to watch, and I couldn't believe how hyped I got for it. It was just that great. But yeah, Yonti sets the fastest lap, 1:35.212. Now remember, Spicy set his lap. I think, well, actually, no, I think he's only just done that, hasn't he? He did a 1:35.5, I think it was earlier.
He did a 35 dead just now, and it obviously got invalidated. I'm not sure where, but my timing says he has gone faster, but wasn't counted.
Which is heartbreaking, really, because I mean, if I'm wrong and he did a 1:35.249 earlier with 13 minutes remaining, when Spicy gets out on those tyres again, he will easily take P1. No one is looking anywhere near capable of touching him right now. He looks so fast. Now the worry is though, is again, does he know the strategy that I was just talking about, the soft mediums, or is he trying to do a soft to hard strategy? Because whilst you can do that, it's not that easy, I'll be honest. The hards are awful on this track. They really feel... I struggled to keep temperature in them when I was driving them on this track, and I wasn't being slow by any stretch of the imagination. I was giving it the full beans, and they really, really were the slippiest tyres I've ever been on any Formula 1 car.
Hards are pretty much useless on the majority of tracks. They're all just... You look at the actual F1, you see the tyre allocations they take into the race. Drivers taking 2 at most of the sets of hards. It's just like, I don't actually want these, but I have to take a set, so let's just take an extra set for the bants. It's similar here. The hard tyres are just useless on, I think, pretty much every track. I mean, yes, okay, there's some where you go mediums to hards, but that's because the softs are so delicate that you don't want to touch them.
It's true. This is the thing. The softs will disintegrate. So don't be surprised if you see these top 4 drivers go into the pits around about lap 7. That's if they've pushed it, if I'm honest. But you know, I think it's going to be difficult for the harsh drivers because realistically, one of them is going to have to early stop or sacrifice their time on the by doing 1 lap later. Sorry. And I think realistically, it's going to come down to who's managing the tires the better. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a who's got priority by being out there further ahead. Because if you're thinking about the team game, you're going to need to really think about how good you've been driving in order to look at your tyre wear. Can you manage the tyre and the pace another lap to be able to protect your teammate a little bit? You know, I think that's the only way you can really give priority. I mean, obviously, if you are miles down the track and your teammate's further behind, then you ain't got to worry about it. But honestly, it's just going to be tremendous today.
It's about, I think it's a 10-second-ish gap, isn't it? It's the double stop. Maybe 8.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Somewhere around there. I think we should actually do some testing on that just to get it firmed up. Because some tracks, sometimes it seems like 6 seconds is enough, but things like Italy, where the pit lane is just there, suddenly starts, you don't want to double stop with 10 or 6 seconds because you'll be straight at the back end of the other guy before he's even gone. Yeah. But then somewhere like here, where you've got slightly longer pit lane entry, it might work a bit lower. Well, we'll find out, won't we? Sfredjeko puts in a time. P5 at 35.8, closing the gap up a little bit. It's starting to look a little bit nicer now. Druslav's gap to the leader is still 2.3 seconds, so he's very much off the pace there. And hopefully we'll soon see him close up, as Spicy, I think, is on a lap.
Yep, he is indeed, and he's looking pretty spicy indeed. I mean, that time was only just a little bit faster than his previous, but I assume that if he found time, it was probably going to have been in his final sector.
He's gone purple sector 1. The fastest sector 1 so far, he's 0.05 of a second faster in the first sector, up on his previous best by a 1/10. So this should be a quick lap. And the sector 2, look, he's up by 0.3 on his previous already. Another purple sector, 36.3. Previous best was a 36.5. So a couple of tenths there. This is looking mighty. He's just got to nail it as Mark has retired. That's sector 1. That sounds like an accident.
I think he may have actually retired in the pit lane potentially. But honestly, Spicy is really looking fast. This is definitely going to be a 134. Is it going to be a low 134? Oh, 134.7. Half a second faster than Yonti. That is amazing.
Yeah, that is blistering pace, but he's made one small mistake there. He's got no time left to do anything about it. Again, he's gone out for a final lap a minute and a half earlier than he should have done. Could this play into Yonti's hands? I can't see Yonti gaining that much time, but I think he could get close.
Honestly, track evolution is huge, don't get me wrong, but I really don't think Yonti is going to be able to deliver a pace in the I mean, Yonti's not someone we shout about in qualifying, right? He is fast, we know that, and when it comes to race pace, and that's the thing that he relies on. His race pace is really solid, but when it comes to his qualifying, he just struggles. He can't seem to put in the ridiculous lap times that you would expect to see from someone like Yonti, and as it stands, a 135.212 is all he's got. We can see more cars retiring from the session, a lot of them obviously doing times like Fragioko's done the mediums. He's currently the fastest medium runner. And you got a copy there in P6, who's done 2 laps actually. Carries on though, he's going to actually lose more tyre wear than he's actually trying to gain by going onto the mediums.
We'll see how he does. A few other people out on track as one retires. Druslav Dennis out there. Bicker is on an outlap. He's got 20 seconds to get to the line. Where is he? Coming to the line now. So Bicker would be the last man to start a flying lap. Yonti is... we haven't actually done a track run by yet, but it's a bit late for that.
It is.
Where's Yonti? Yonti's coming up to turn number 7 here. So, no purple sector for Yonti. He's not down by much, though. But being down by a little bit is a significant amount, because you've got to get that back and then some. I'm not
So
sure
I
who to
actually
watch
made a
here.
slight mistake. I thought Fragioco was the fastest on mediums. He's not. It's Mark that's the fastest on mediums, and he's currently sat P3. 1:35.5 on mediums is a really quick time. But yeah, like you said, Spicy's not going to be able to
Wow.
improve, so he's stayed 1:34.7. I don't think Yonti's going to be able to necessarily beat it, but he's about to prove me wrong right now.
Yeah, is he coming towards the line yet?
Nope, not
Nope.
yet. Still got the final sector to go.
It's not
He's
gone
not
perfect
far away
again.
though. This is arguably the hardest part of the track because it's such a. It's not necessarily the slowest. Sorry, not necessarily the trickiest corners. It's just so slow, and you want to get on the power as early as possible. And you got so much like long turns. It's this one here I find really frustrating. And then you got the power down to get right up to the turn on the security box, and then boom across, straight round and across the line. And he does not go fast enough. Although it is a 1:34.825. Where's Beaker?
He's on his ways up by only a tenth, so he's not gonna set the world alight, and he's coming straight into the pits. He's had enough of that.
Yeah.
He might have only gained a place. Potentially yes.
I think invalidated on the, you know, the S's I was telling you about that are quite difficult. Yeah. I think it was right there where he invalidated on the left-hander. It looked like he just took way too much curb. But, I mean, that's the end of the qualifying session, so Spicy shocked us all by really putting himself up there, and a slight disappointment, really, from Copy. We expected him to be a lot faster than he is, but then again, he did do it on the mediums, but he did 3 laps on those tyres. Let me check, are they his fastest tyres? I think they are, you know, and that means that Copy's going to be starting the race with quite scrubbed up mediums.
Well, we'll see how that works out for him. His best said it was just medium 0 laps, so don't know what we can take from that.
Well, here's the rundown at the end of the qualifying session. So Spicy, obviously the fastest with 1:34.719, and then you got Yonti, who's not that far away actually, by the 10th in P2. Now this is where things start to get a little bit more interesting because the tyre strategies are going to be very varied. So Mark is P3 on the mediums. He's 8/10 off the pace of Spicy. Obviously Spicy did on softs. Beaker, who did on softs but didn't get to improve because he invalidated, so as P4. Then you got Fragioco P5, Cop P6, Vexation 7, Dennis 8th, Jurislav 9th, and Lou rounds out the top 10. And then Duxby and Max got the qualifying bans, so they will not be able to put a time on the board. And I have seen that Marinello Baby's also joined us as well. So not only will he be starting at the very back of the grid, we'll also have to use a default setup.
I thought they changed that.
Nope. If Park Vermeer's on, I don't think you can set the car up.
Oh, well. He's got nothing to lose, has he?
Yeah, potentially everything to gain. I mean, there's 13 drivers now that he's here, and that means that, you know, if you can pass just a couple, you will actually be in the fight for the final point. The point is a point, really, you know, as our old mate Bruce Forsyth would say. What are points, mate?
Prizes!
And in 20 seconds, people will be able to start battling for those prizes as they are on the grid, getting themselves ready, choosing their race strategy, also setting the fuel up that they're going to be using into the race. I mean, if we saw Brownie here, he'd be the sole driver who'd be under fueling for the most case, but he's not. And it looks like everyone else is probably going to be setting themselves about a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps, because this track is actually not really one that you need to use a lot of straight line pace. So you got the DRS straight from turns 4 to 5, but yes, it's odd. 5 6, I think it is.
What are you talking about? DRS straight.
Yeah, the DRS straight. Is it turn 4?
Exit turn 5.
There?
This is now
5 there.
5. This is the long right-hander.
Yeah,
not long,
5
but
6.
And then 6 is this kink they're coming up to now. I'm on board with Spicy's, by the way, so as you go down into turn 7 here, the left-hander, plenty of space to overrun on these things. Turn 8, tight right-hander, not a lot of space on the inside or the outside to make mistakes. Turn 9, back over to the right-hand side, chuck it in, and no space whatsoever there. And then along St Andrews Road, eventually, when we get to turn number 10. Which is,
that used to be the old Singapore Sling, didn't it?
Is that turn 10? I love that corner.
Area there was where the Singapore Sling used to be, but
the
drivers complained about how it was so suicidal to chuck it in like that.
Well, it should be called the suicidal Singapore Sling.
Well, it was the reason they were complaining about it so much was because they had to push so hard, and you run the risk of just so if you make even a slight mistake. I mean, it's kind of similar to like Castle in Baku, how you have a very small margin of error. If you make a mistake, you're in the wall, and in real life, that is obviously a major crash zone. Look at Kubica, look at Leclerc. They had major issues in Baku, and that could the pace you're chucking into that corner because you don't go slow into it. It can very easily cause you some serious injury. And the Singapore Sling was no exception. It was very much a corner where you just kind of threw the car into it and just prayed that you made the corner perfectly. Because if you didn't, you were in big trouble.
It wasn't really a chicane. It was you could go straight through it and bounce over the three corners.
Yeah, exactly.
There wasn't any turning required. Just as long as you're pointing in the right direction as you get to it, you'd be fine.
But that was the problem is if you made even a slight mistake, if it just took a bit too much curb on either side, you would be completely destabilized and you would lose the car and end up in a barrier. You know what I mean? That was the main worry and major concern for it. And they said that they had to take it out for safety reasons. But anyway, here we go. In the new version, I say new as in the last, I think, 8 years, it's been going. We are here in the Singapore track, ready to get going with the European Racing Series Grand Prix. And they are out and off we go. And it looks like the Haas drivers actually got away quite nicely. Mark really did well there, given the situation that he's on the medium tyres. You'd have thought he wouldn't have had anywhere near as much grip as he does, but he's going away nicely. And it's looking pretty tidy towards the back.
Yeah, Marino may be very slow off the line. I think he's just taking it a bit easy just to ensure he gets through the first corner without incident. He is a race winner here as Max is trying to make moves there on Duxie B. And is that what you saw?
No, Yonti and Spicy. Yonti almost end up in the wall. As you can see now, they're going side by side. And it's going to be Yonti going around the outside of this corner. It's going to be a very tough one. He's actually run off the track. Not sure if he's going to have to give that position back, although he has done. Now they're going wheel to wheel towards the barrier. And oh, Spicy just keeps himself outside of it. There was almost damage, but it's all good. Duxie B and Jurislav. And, Duxie B and Max scrapping. Max having a big tank slipper there.
Just a little wobble coming off the corner, yep. There's a few wobbles back there. There we go, trying to go too wide into turn 8. Quite a few cars were actually. As we come towards the Anderson Bridge for the first time today, this tight turn 13. Not really an overtaken opportunity unless your name's Dennis. I mean, you're going to try anyway, but he clipped the back end on the wall, came off without any issues. But he's right in Max's path now. Max is sending one down the inside. He is through. This could end bad. He's left a bit of space there. Is Dennis coming back? He's going to have the inside here, but then on the outside. But then on the inside. He's going to squeeze Max. Oh. Don't go too wide there. Don't go too wide there.
They almost end up in the wall. There's Dennis actually just slightly touching the wall. A little bit of a lock up there. They were going really well wheel to wheel there for a moment. And now Dennis is back on track. I think he may go warning for that. But now he's in risk of being taken by Duxie B. Duxie B had to just fall back a little bit. But, give them credit. That was a really good wheel to wheel battle ride between Dennis and Max.
Doesn't often happen when you say that, does it?
It feels weird, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, I think Max might have just outdone himself slightly on turn 21. Just didn't leave any space on the exit of 20 for Dennis, and Dennis just had to take the escape road. But what's done is done, and he's now coming under a little bit of pressure from Duxie B. I suspect he might start pulling away from that one soon. What's happening up front? They are still close up front. Mark has done a great job on those mediums to stay with them.
Indeed, Spicy. Oh, okay, he got a little bit excited there through that corner. It's actually allowed Yonti to just pull away a little bit. Mark is actually right there on the back of them. And again, these tyre situations are about to get awkward for them. Vexation. He is right on the back of Copy now, prepping himself for an overtake. There is no DRS here until this lap ends and the next one begins. That's when you'll get the opportunity, and there is only one DRS section on this track, but it is a long one and very much easily an opportunity for you to overtake.
Absolutely. Yeah, the softs aren't doing it. Beacon and Frederico starting to become a little bit spread, but the fact that Mark is still there on the mediums running with the soft guys just says that the softs aren't that great. Unless they've already fallen off a little bit. They seem to be just not able to get away, and Beacon's just not able to get past Mark to go with them. So
the softs aren't meant to be a long run on the start of the race, right? So the sole reason they ran the softs was so they could get fast lap times in qualifying, because they know that going to mediums from mediums to mediums is the right strategy. they've chosen that is the they're going to sacrifice a little bit of time at the beginning stint so they can go mediums to mediums because the hards are just that slow. You'll see that later when they get onto them. Right now, the mediums are the best tire to be on for race pace, but for qualifying pace, the softs were absolutely what they needed.
Well, we'll find out if that's what's going to work from Beaker's actually dropping back a little bit from Mark. Now as Mark is pressurising Spicy and Yonti out front. And Max is set the fastest lap last time out. He's still there. He's now clear of Dennis. So he's up on the back of Vexation, making that qualifying ban work for him as he attempts to side his way up towards the top 5, which isn't out of his reach just yet.
No, absolutely not. He is. I mean, credit to Max. He's actually doing really well today. P8 is a really solid result even as it stands. If he was to finish like this, this is pretty good. Considering where he started on the grid. But now he does still have a lot of work to cut out. And I think ultimately he started on the mediums. He's probably going to be looking to go mediums to hards, despite the fact that he said thanks for the strat earlier. I think he might try medium softs mediums. That's probably the more logical thing, except it doesn't work for him now. Doing the medium softs mediums in a race without doing the softs in the qualifying is kind of pointless. Whilst yes, it is the prime strategy if you did do the qualifying. Mediums hards would still be better and absolutely should be the tyre strategy to go for. Keep an eye out for Vexation, Max, and Copy.
Oh, one's
they
in the
are
pits.
getting very close. Oh,
Beaker's had enough already. I was looking at those tyres. They're not quite gone, but they were on their way. I think he could have had another couple of laps out of those at least. But
yeah.
he's taken advantage of the fact that he has a bit of time to spare with his teammate out front. I thought I'll just come in, I'll go to the back. I'll have some nice clean air. I can now start going rapid and closing up the back gap to Lou in 12th.
Yeah, only 6.6 off the back of Lou. Got an opportunity to...
No, 13.
Oh, Vexation almost went into the back of Copy there.
No, he didn't.
Copy broke a lot earlier than I actually think Vexation was expecting. Very well held there by Vexation to make sure he didn't just lock up and go into the back of him. But look at Mark on the back of Spicy, having to come out of the slipstream just so he doesn't get too hot on the tyres and hot on the brakes. Because if you do, you can very much easily lose control of the car. No overtaking opportunities, at least not yet. Maybe in the braking zone at the end after the bridge. But this is going to be it's going to be a tense one, I think, waiting for that DRS straight.
Yeah, I think you got a bit excited by Vexation. He was nowhere near going to the back of Copy. Looks all cool from my end. Now Vexation does have pressure from Copy's teammate, Max, who's right up his rear. And Max is the type of driver that will go for a gap. Doesn't matter where it is, he'll go for it. Like there. Whether or not it's going to work for him is a different matter. And he gets a big tank slapper coming off the corner. Dennis is closed up into this as well. Dennis nearly into the back there. That was much closer than Vexation to Copy. But I think this could end in a great overtake or tears, this sort of battling. As
Spicy in the pits.
Yeah, they're both in the pits. Dennis through a penalty corner cutting. Yonti and Spicy both in, so battle of the team. See who gets out ahead.
Alright.
Gone hard
Did
for Spicy.
Beaker do well enough in that lap? Now, obviously, he was quite the way down,
No.
so I don't expect him to be fast enough to be ahead of Yonti. But he's in a situation where he could get past Spicy pretty soon. You're going to see, literally, the difference between the tyre compounds I was saying earlier. How much better this two-stop strategy is going to be. There's Spicy just come out of the pits. Yonti's actually right ahead. This has worked out beautifully for Beaker. He goes into the side of Spicy. It was almost contact properly, but no damage on either car. Yonti, Spicy, Beaker now lined up perfectly, and that stop was beautifully timed there for Beaker.
Yeah, it's worked out well for him. I didn't think he was going to get past him. He still hasn't got past Spicy, but he looks like he's in the DRS. I'm keeping my eyes on the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th at the moment. Copy's just dropped like a stone and is now behind Dennis as Max is now leading this four-way battle and trying to start putting away. He's set the fastest first sector of anyone so far as Max.
I mean, you got to be careful. Max needs to be careful now. If you keep watching the way that he's attacking drivers, he's doing fine. He's not hit any of the drivers yet, but he is shredding the rear of those tires. Honestly, Dennis almost hit the wall there, but kept it just under control. He can't afford to get any wing damage on this track. Any end plate goes missing, you are losing a lot of time every lap. So no, that's a warning. Maybe. Oh, Dennis. Yeah, he's struggling. He's doing the same thing as Max is. They're just trying so hard to get the power down. That's what happens when you do it. Oh, that was close.
Well, he's kept it going and kept it out of the wall.
He's gonna get disqualified.
Oh, Lou is coming past. That's Lou past, but that's just absolutely roasted his tyres. In fact, I might ask him for a set of those tyres so I can fry an egg on them later.
Or use them to warm the house up, because right now it is very cold here in Britain. But Vexation is looking pretty hot right now, and also hunting down Max. Max doesn't have DRS on Fragioco, so now we're going to see what Max can do when he's in a defensive position. We already saw what he can do in the attack mode, but defense mode is a different beast altogether. I'm not sure what Max can do here, if I'm being truthfully honest. He's got a very quick Vexation behind him, and he's actually been looking after his tyres a lot better than Max has been. So we'll have to see how he copes under the pressure.
You say that, but I can see their numbers. Max is better than Vexation on pure
On
tyre
the rears
wear.
or just overall?
But all four tyres are better on Max, wear-wise, not temperature-wise, because temperature changes every time you look at it.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. I thought, Vexation's looked a lot more under control, whereas Max has been properly chucking into corners, defending like he can, and spinning the rears quite a lot on the exit corners. But if Max is doing well, that's brilliant news. 2.6 seconds off the car ahead then, which is Fragioco. Obviously, ultimately, when he pits, he's going to drop a lot of time to the car behind him. Maranello, baby, despite using hard tyres and despite using default setup, is working his way onto Duxie B.
Yeah, I did forget though, Vexation did qualify on those tyres, so he has taken a little bit of life out from qualifying. So they're probably running about equal race wearing, should we say. They're both wearing about the same percentage per lap. Well, like they did last lap anyway. So, but Maranello up on the rear of Duxie B. Is he going to fancy a shot into turn 7 down the Raffles Boulevard? We're going to find out in a moment. As Max is coming in a bit more pressure from Vexation, won't be a pass this time. But Duxie B gets a good drive off that corner. That's the mediums helping him off. But now DRS is helping from Maranello, maybe just too far back, and he knows it.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, he probably doesn't want to pass him, unless Duxie B is just that much slower. I mean, at the minute, it looks as though that's the case. But if in an ideal scenario, if Duxie B had the pace, Maranello baby's in the perfect position, right on the back of Duxie B, keeping the tyres nice and toasty, also getting DRS and slipstream to help him carry the pace around. But you can see, look how much Duxie B is struggling. Maranello baby needs to actually get the job done now, can't afford to delay at all. Otherwise, he's just going to lose a lot of time that he needs to get whilst he's on these hard tyres.
Yeah, he's sitting on the back there, point 2, and Jurisav's now coming into the frame as well, which is going to give him the hurry up a little bit more to get past Duxie B, because then he can leave Duxie B and Jury to battle it out behind. But meanwhile, Mark is still out in the lead, 6 laps in on those mediums. 3.2 is the gap between him and Fragioco. Has he worked the strategy to perfection? What is he going to do though? Is he going to have to go mediums to the hards? What's Spicy doing though? He's gone softs to hards. Yeah. Is that going to work out for him though?
Well, this is the thing. This is what I was saying, that you'll see the difference in the two strategies in a little while. Spicy is 2.5 seconds off of Beaker, and that was in 3 laps. I mean, they're about to finish the 3rd lap. You know, that's a lot of time lost in that area. He's going to be running those hard tyres for a long time, and ultimately Beaker's going to go from mediums to mediums. So all that needs to happen is he just needs to maintain the pace, get the gap built up. Vexation's looking for Max though. Here he comes. Big sender around the outside. If he can get this job done, he has to back out. Max defended that quite well. He's going to be able to hold it together through this series of corners, because that's a tight line he just took there, and he's got round. But Vexation's going to have the drive out the corner. Has to back out again. But Max has lost the car. This comes Vexation. Oh, I think he gave him a little bit more space than necessarily needed to. But Max defends enough to keep P3.
Bassing got on behind as well. Duxie B and Maranello closing the battle up, as Jurisav's still hovering around the back end of them. And he's trying to find a way through as well. But kind of pledging all his bets on Maranello getting past Duxie B, because yeah, there's not a lot of space on this track if you want to try a double overtake. It is possible, but it is going to be really difficult. You need to get the driver champs off turn 5.
Oh, Beaker, oh, he's looking for the move on Dennis, trying to get the cutback on him, but he just got a little bit too excited on the rear. Might go for a move here into this tight one. He's kept it together just about. Dennis didn't go into the wall either. A little bit of a twitch there, so is Beaker. And that's going to give Dennis still the priority of the position. They are technically battling for position, despite the fact that they're on different strategies. Yonti's gone through on Lou. I think Lou just kind of let him through. Oh, Dennis clipped the wall a little bit. Nothing to worry about too much. Coffee's in the pits. They've obviously swapped places. Dennis is really struggling with that car today.
Well, don't forget you had that spin earlier. It's just taken a bit more life out of the tires than he would have liked, and added a little bit more heat to go with it. And now he's got to try and reset himself and get going after Lou, because he is actually battling Lou for position at the moment, even though they are. Oh, that is a big mistake from Dennis.
We all saw it coming. It looked like he was just going to full on send him. We know BK. There's absolutely an opportunity. If he sees that, he's going to go for it. This time he's learned a little bit and said, no, I can't. But look how much further away Yonti is getting. The longer this battle goes on, the more time Beaker is losing. And Beaker knows it. And that's why he's pushing so hard. But he just keeps making mistakes. Dennis is through on Lou. Lou is going to come back across Beaker. But there's no damage, no contact. There's contact. That's Beaker into the back of Lou. And overall, I don't think Beaker got any damage out of that. But he is just dropping time so much here. He has to hurry up and get the job done.
Yeah, that's brought Spicy back into this. He's dismissing him earlier. Lou's made a little mistake there. Beaker's getting frustrated and forcing his way past now. That is Beaker force. There's no two ways about that, as Spicy comes through as well.
Spicy caught the opportunity there where Lou just ran a bit wide as a result of Beaker and kind of pressuring and forcing over to the outside, and that allowed Spicy to just get right back in there. And remember, it was 2.5 seconds after 3 laps. It's now 0.6 seconds after 4 laps because of how much the traffic held Beaker back. Look at the gap now for Yonti, sorry. 3 seconds ahead of Dennis, 3.3 now. 1 second ahead of Beaker is Dennis, and that that's a lot of time gained for Yonti there. He's really going to start running away with this.
Yeah, there's a reason Yonti is the current championship leader. He's absolutely dominating here. I just wondered if Beaker's going to get pulled up to the stewards for the over-aggressive overtake there on Lou. There wasn't an opportunity. Beaker made an opportunity, though, by just forcing his car through the small gaps. Did look a little bit sort of, ooh, can you do that?
I mean, he didn't actually touch. I mean, there was
there's a couple of touches.
Marinelli baby almost went straight into the back of Duxbury there, locked at the front left, so there was almost contact. Beaker, how's he doing?
He's going to have easy overtake here on Dennis. Dennis, big mistake off turn 5 and losing a lot of time as a result. Beaker's easily through. Spicy now will be joining onto the back end, and Beaker needs to find 4.5 seconds to Yonti. Yonti, who set the fastest lap last time around. Beaker was 2.5 seconds slower last lap. That's how much he was held up.
Yeah, that's the thing. Again, we're saying the traffic is just such a nightmare to get past on this track. It's not an easy overtaking opportunity for anybody, especially when you've got drivers that they are pretty good in terms of defending, and they have every reason to defend. The longer they can hold you back up, and the more you're going to be feeling obliged to press pretty hard. And if you do press too hard, you're going to end up in the wall or doing what Dennis did earlier and rotating the car completely. That could be the end of your race, essentially. Now the gap between Yonti and Beaker, whilst they were, within each other's slipstream and DRS, is now 5 seconds between him and Yonti. Spicy is actually losing time again now that Beaker's got pace, but it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, I'll have a look at the laps when they come in. They're on the way in now. Actually, Yonti did a 40.7. Beaker did a 41.3. So, didn't lose a huge amount of time, but didn't close up. It's almost like he knows he's second here today. But, well, I say that, he's going to be second here today. He still needs to potentially, I'm not going to say, well, I think he definitely has to, doesn't he? Has to do another pit stop.
Yeah, no, he absolutely does. There's no way you can take the mediums all the way to the end. Beaker would be insane enough to try that, but I don't think he will today. I think ultimately, Beaker's best option now is to do the pit at the normal time and do the pit at the normal time.
Okay.
Because Yonti is a lap after him, and you remember you saw the difference that the one soft mid or Marinelli is all over the back of Dux to B. He's really trying to find the gap, and he knows Dux to B is holding him back in the same manner that we saw Beaker, and it makes you wonder if Marinelli Baby was free, would he be closing in on Max? It's only 4.5 seconds between Duxbury and Max. That's an opportunity for him to go for it. But he's struggling to just make the move done and dusted.
Yeah, we're starting to approach the pit window for those medium tyres. Probably in the next 4 laps, I think we'll see the top 4 come in. As I said, that Francesco pits.
There you go.
Good timing, Francesco. Don't run too wide and pick up a penalty.
Mark's also in as well. He was current race leader.
And Max.
That will be changing in a short while. Yeah,
Duxbury staying out.
They're going to have to do hards. And this is where you're going to see the double medium stint come into play here. Where's Yonti? He's actually on the home straight. There you go. He's already passed all of them. So yeah, he's going to be ahead. We expected that anyway. That wasn't going to be a surprise. It's more when they do the second stint on another set of mediums, where will they fare? Are they going to be able to build enough of a gap to be able to, and then come back out again? Because Mark's on the hards now. He's going to the end. Frajoko's the same. Max is the same. Everybody else is on the hards. The 2 hards drivers are doing it again.
Going around the outside, big contact, and that is a rotated Daxi B. He comes back on as Yonti goes past. Was that Marinobu not leaving enough room? Was that Daxi B thinking he had a chance to come back there? Either way, it's ended bad for Daxi B. Good for Marinobu at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's a racing incident ultimately. I think it's a mixture of both. Marinobu just held him, dead to rights, trying to put him in a mindset where he has to back out. Otherwise, there's going to be a collision. And I think at the same time, he gave him sufficient space. I don't think there was any issue there. But also, Duxbury B trying to maintain the car through that area of the track. His tyres are now starting to reach the end of their life. They're not there yet, but I think you got another 2 laps, maybe. Well, now they're probably pretty dead after that spin, but 2-3 laps in normal conditions, I think, left before he needs to then pit again.
Ooh, they're looking nice.
I think he's going to have to go hards, though.
Well, we'll find out. Do you think he could go mediums, and then a nice quick stint at the end on softs? Or do you think he's just going to lose too much? He's got Mark on his tail. Is he coming in this lap? He's coming in.
Yeah, he's going hards. He's definitely going hards. I mean, I think Duxbury is probably going to end up outside of the points. Ultimately, I think he's going to end up around Jurislav area and just sort of holding it there. The only way the softs work... Yeah, he's gone hards. The only way the softs work on this track is if you do them in qualifying. Otherwise, don't touch them. That's pretty much the rule of thumb. They disintegrate so quickly on this track because of how much you demand from them. Yeah, you can chuck in ridiculous lap times with them, but it just costs you.
Max and Lou! That's Lou being rotated side by side through the corner. I think that's another racing incident. As much as I like to see Max make mistakes, I think that was 100% on Lou. On both of them, really. There was enough space, but I don't think Lou really took advantage of all the space. And as a result, got rotated. 12 laps on those hards. Probably hasn't helped his strategy. But
no, definitely not.
I mean, look at Mark now on Beaker. They came out quite close to each other. Now Mark has pulled out over a second on him in the last couple of laps, on this lap even.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to Beaker. I don't know if he's just mentally lost the focus and the composure and maybe losing time to him that way, but I mean, we're talking a good 6 and a bit seconds between Yonti and Beaker. Yeah, that time's just dripping away for Beaker. I don't know if he just feels like his tyres are done and dusted, but I mean, Yonti's still got pace. He is still delivering. I think Mark now, whilst he will be in a prime situation, the hards brand new right now are going to be better than both the house drivers' mediums. But when it comes towards the end of the race, because we're playing the long game here, this is nothing more than that. When it comes to those hards towards the end of this race, they're going to be much less performance than the mediums. And you'll see that in about 5 or 6 laps, that's when they're going to properly take off.
Well, we'll soon see, won't we? Beaker still needs to do a fair few more laps, though, before he can realistically change onto mediums. He maybe want to go now, but I think he's got to get as close to probably 18, 19 before considering to come in. Whether or not he'll be able to get there, we'll soon find out.
So what are we on now? We need to get a halfway mark, which they've
nearly
done.
there.
How many laps on them? So they've done 9. Yeah, I think you could probably do it at 17 at a push. You won't really want to do it any earlier than that because your final stint. Oh, Duxie V went really wide there. Not sure exactly what caused that. It didn't look like he lost out on grip all of a sudden or locked up in any way. There was no pressure from any of the drivers. It's simply a driver mistake, but really ran wide there.
Yeah, I'm keeping my eyes on Spicy's right up on Beaker's rear, and I think Beaker might be losing a place here. This strategy is not working out for him today. That is for sure. He's not liking these mediums, is he?
No, he's really, really not. I mean, I think ultimately the issue was when he got stuck behind traffic. That was when he lost his focus and mentality. You could see it was breaking him, knowing he was losing so much time as a result of all that traffic that was being built up. He couldn't get past Dennis, and Lou as well. He just really struggled to make that move done and dusted. That cost him such a huge amount of time that now he's just shut down mentally.
Yellow in sector 3, is that vexation? He did just lose a place, and he did just lose 5 seconds at a time, so yes, it was vexation. He's also had a little excursion off track.
Well, he was an AI up until that point because he had to rejoin. But if you look at Duxie B, who is actually getting really close to the back of Jurislav, he's got brand new hards on. So has Jurislav. I mean, they're a lap older, but that really won't make any difference.
Ooh.
Oh, he almost went into the back there of Jurislav. That was nearly a rotated McLaren, but they're all right at the minute, and they've got another DRS zone coming up. Duxie B trying to get the perfect line through the corner because he knows the exit is very important if you want to get the job done. I don't think he's going to have enough to do this now.
Now Duxby's coming in hard and fast. He's just not there. No. Could have tried to send it around the outside, but now he's fancying a shot here. I'll tell you what, Singapore's great for helicopter cameras. It's like this the only camera angle they've got.
I'm not complaining. It's the most glorious camera angle in any of the camera angles you can have available to you. I love it.
It does get overdone here, though, I believe. That's my opinion. But over the bridge we go. And Duxby still sitting in the rear of Duxie B. Meanwhile, up front, Mario Baby's getting closed down by Yonti. Still to pit, though, for Maranello. In fact, I'm going to go as far as saying he's not net lead at the moment. Mark is net leader, but Maranello Baby is probably net second place. Actually, I haven't said that, no, because Fragioko Copy will probably use pass and so will Max. And Raggy has left the session, so I believe he's just disconnected. Are you still here, mate?
Oh, come on.
He is still here, but there's not much he can do.
What happened?
You just disconnected from the session.
But I've not lost anything else.
Well, apparently you have, as Duxie B has just made a move on Jurislav. On the home straight of all places, not the usual place to see no take. Now it gives Jurislav a chance to come back at Duxie B as we go round turn number 3. And Reggie has managed to get back in. But will Jurislav get back into the points? He's going to give it a chance. Not the cleanest corner of turn 5 onto the raffles. And I think Duxie B may have this one covered off. He is in Mo4. He's very low on ERS. Duxie B down to 10%. Beaker 3-second penalty. That's not good news for him. Yellow in sector 2. That may well be Beaker again. There's another yellow in sector 2. That's just ahead of us, actually. Who's that? Is that Vexation again?
I'm not sure. I've just rejoined. Vexation is having a slow one. Definite mistakes.
Massive
left
front
end
left.
plate damaged.
100%
need to just
left.
keep an eye on this battle for P4 because I'm telling you now, Spicy is at him and going for it. Yeah, absolutely. I think that Spicy's still going to lose a place in the end because of how much the medium strategy is going to work beautifully for the house drivers. I'm just curious to know whether or not Beaker's going to actually catch Mark or not. ultimately, if Spicy was to impact Beaker's race in any way, that's the only way Spicy holds that position.
I don't think you saw it while you're off. Beaker's got a 3-second penalty.
Oh yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Oh, you saw that. So that changes things quite dramatically at this point in time. He'll lose 2 places with it. As things stand.
Yeah, as things stand, absolutely. I think, honestly, come to the end of the race, that 3-second won't make a difference. I honestly, I genuinely believe Beaker. I think the strategy that Haas have pulled off today is... I don't think we quite understand just how insane that's going to be, but Beaker's under pressure, Spicy's coming at him, DRS slipstream, not going to go for the overtake yet, it's a bit too early for it, and even despite Beaker having issues trying to just keep the car pointing in the right direction, you can see how much Spicy is just pressuring him, and I think Beaker's going to hold on for it quite a while.
Yeah, I don't think we can really make calls on who's going to finish where for another probably about 13 laps. Until I'd say that counter reads lap 30, we'll have a good idea of who's finishing where. Unless Yonti's already in the lead with a 5-second gap to the second place. But I think this race, this is exactly how Singapore works in real life. The entire race is actually a few laps too long. Because that's when all the tyres start coming in. Every strategy all comes to a point in the last few laps. And that's exactly what's going to happen here today. All strategies don't play out until you get into those final couple of laps. And Singapore, yes, it is right on the edge of that 2-hour limit as Yonti brings his into the pits. Oh, interesting. Beacon might come in as well. He's that 10 seconds off. But it's going to be interesting to see how strategies work out in the long run. Beacon does come in as well.
This is perfect. This is perfect. They have literally played this exactly how the playbook says. The double stack should be timed just right for Beaker so he won't lose anything. Look, they're already ready to go. This... Oh, no!
No, wait. That's a visual bug.
On my side?
It's a visual bug. There you go.
It's free. Oh, thank God.
He might have got held up a little bit.
Honestly, I think Ravenduck has just pulled the move of the season. And he wasn't even driving on the track. The Haas engineer may have just pulled off the absolute blinder that puts Haas on a 1-2 despite Beaker having so much traffic earlier and having the 3-second time penalty. I mean, this drive now is going to be the most crucial drive that Beaker's ever done in his life. It's a hell of a drive to get up there. I mean, if you look at the gap to leader right now, he currently sits 39.2 seconds off. Yes, Maranello Baby has not yet pit, and Mark is currently sort of race leader, but he's still only a second and a half off of Maranello Baby. It's going to be a hard drive, but I think when Mark's tyres get towards the end, they're going to die.
I can't see Beaker getting on second. He might get third. I can't see him getting second. I want to be proved wrong here, and I love it if it happened. As Vexation, I think, has just had more incidents. He's just come out of the pits only a few laps ago. He's got front right damage this time. I wouldn't be surprised to see him retire at the end of this lap as Mark goes up into the lead. Marino Baby is in. There's Vexation retiring. That was on track as well. That's not good.
Beaker and Jeroslav, oh, they've had contact. That's not the way to take that corner. A little bit too much for both of them. I think Jeroslav felt like he was at fault there. I'm not sure necessarily if he was or not, but that's not our job to work out. As such, it's entirely just to commentate on what happened. And Beaker went round the outside, did end up getting the position overall. And now Beaker knows how hard he has to go.
Jeroslav let him pass at the end of the day. Quite literally, he eased off the gas. I think he obviously felt it his mistake and should let the position back to avoid any post-race penalties. But what's done is done. We move on to lap 19 of 31, and Marinabi came out 1 second behind Yonti.
Yeah, I mean, he might have actually just done well enough, but still, I don't know how good that's going to be for him. I think the traffic didn't work out too well for Yonti and Beacon. I think ultimately they probably came in maybe a little bit too early on the softs, but I don't know. We'll find out. I'm curious to see how well this strategy works out. The softs, mediums is pretty insane on this track. I honestly didn't think anyone was going to try this. I've never seen anyone pull this off, but I think they may have just done exactly what they needed to get Yonti at least the win, and potentially Beaker on the podium.
Well, we will find out as we go. I'm going to do a quick just checking and see what Max is doing on copy. Teammate on teammate. Quick penalty rundown for you because we haven't actually done one. There's not too many to talk about today yet. This is a track that you can pick up a couple if you just make mistakes, particularly in that final sector. You've got the three chicanes and the final corner. But Max is currently on 3 seconds, Dennis on 6, and then Beaker, Drusev and Lou all on 3. If you didn't hear the name, they have none as it stands, as Yonti goes fastest of everyone.
So the next fastest lap is Mark, who's a 1:39.9. So that's a full second and a bit ahead of him. And he would have only done that lap probably near the start of his hard tyres. Now you're going to be in a situation when you're Mark thinking, how do I hold that back? What do I do here? I mean, look at the gaps. 22.3 right now. It's already dropped considerably since he got onto these tires. 11 laps to go.
Just
22
keep swimming.
seconds. It's a lot to do.
Just keep swimming if your name's Mark. Yonti still has to pass the person that you don't want to be anywhere near when you're trying to race for a win, which is Max.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll realise that he's not really racing him and let someone by. But at the same time, I want him to hold him up a little bit because it might create a more exciting end to the race. But Yonti is almost up onto the back of Max. Look at it, he's just closing up tenths at a time. He just did a 37.7 compared to Max's 39.2 in the middle sector. That's a purple sector 2 to go with it. That is how much he's flying. Look at it, he's already off on the back end of Max.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of back ends, look at Beaker on Dennis Part 2. I'm not sure whether or not he's going to be able to do a much easier job than he did last time about it, but he's already being held up. He's just... honestly, the negativity he had in his mindset earlier has caused him to lose so much time as a result of this. And if you get name is Yonti doing what you've just done to Max, that's the sort of scenario that Beaker wants to be in, where he can just pass the cars very swiftly and set a 1:38.6. This guy is getting faster, not slower, and he's got another slipstream DRS to get him into P4 right now. Yonti is looking so good.
Yeah, he's just got to be careful though, because you can sometimes just overdo it on these new tyres, take a little bit too much out of them. But he's now up into P4. He's looking good. He's now got a nice big gap to Frederick where you can just sort of recharge a little bit of ERS, charge up. Oh, don't burn off all your tyres, save a little bit of fuel, get ready to dump it all for when you're battling. Because, I mean, Spicy may piss again. He's gone softs the hards. Let's see if I can get a reading on his tyres actually while we're talking about him.
He won't pit again.
No, he won't. He'll make it to the end on those. I've just checked the numbers.
Way he's pitting again. If he pits again now, he's just basically chucked away a chance for a podium.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he was fine with Beaker. Beaker's obviously been stuck behind Dennis for however long. He's now finally got past him. He's now lining up Duxie B already. And this is what Beaker's going to get the cutback here. He's done this so many times. Although this time he actually chooses a different line, but it actually cost him even more than before. Beaker was going for the cutback in that area of the track all the time, and it didn't really pay off for him too well. The person I want to focus on is Mark, because ultimately he's currently holding all the marbles right now. He is able to hold on to race lead. It's all dependent on how quick he can maintain the pace.
Oh, bit of lag there. Max has just got past two people with one bit of lag.
Interesting.
Is that Steam playing around again? Because Max was behind Copy. He's now ahead of Maranello, baby.
Yeah. And Copy did... Yeah, Copy definitely lagged back.
Max I think, is just letting... Are they both Copy and No, Maranello's Italian. Copy's from Czech, isn't he? So they're not like the same area
Of the world.
Yeah. So the two people suddenly lag at the same time.
Yeah, well, I mean, usually you'd think that would be in the same house at least, but...
Yeah.
Oh, a bit of a twitch there from Duxie B. Here comes Beaker then, looking for the move to get it done dusted. He's been waiting for this for a good lap and a bit. Duxie B going defensive into the corner. This is going to be a side-by-side battle, and we saw what happened earlier on with Beaker, and he kept it together, and he's got the job done, so he's up in a P8, but that is just the start of his problems, because the next driver is Copy, who even with the lag spike is still 12.9 seconds ahead of Beaker.
Yeah, Dennis is looking for a chance, and Duxby as well back there. This is for 9th and 10th, and I don't think Jurisav's going to be able to close up to the back of this, and nor is Lou. So this is battling for the last 2 points places, and Dennis has got a lot of penalties to his name. That's his problem now. 9 seconds penalties. Actually, Jurisav and Lou do have a slither of a chance. It's only a little slither, but it is a chance. And they actually, never mind. I should read things before I talk, shouldn't I? They've both got 3 seconds of penalties, so yeah. It's a 6-second gap. So unless Dennis picks up another handful, I don't think it's going to swing too much.
I honestly, the way that Dennis has just been driving around these last few laps, I would be surprised if he makes it to the end of this Grand Prix. He nearly binned it about 7 or 8 corners ago. He nearly just got. He got so heavy on the power. He rotated the rear and he caught it, but it took him all the way to the inside of the track, and it was a very, very wide track anyway. But watch as he comes out of this corner. Is he going to just be a bit too aggressive? Yep, there you go. Again, oversteer. Had to catch it again. He's losing time doing that. And he might be able to get a pass here.
Yeah, that's what happened earlier on in the race, wasn't it? That he got the oversteer off the final corner, nearly putting it into the wall. Somehow survived. But that was all caused by just getting a little bit too keen on accelerator and rotating the car. It's the battle of the car rotators today, isn't it, for 9th and 10th?
Yeah, Battle of the Tokyo Drifters. Yonti 5 seconds now off of Fragioco. He's doing well. He's brought it down 3 seconds over the last 2 laps, I think. It might have even been 3.5. But he is absolutely flying right now. Look at the gap to leader, really quick. He's brought it down to 17.2, and that's over the space of 3 laps. So that's 6 seconds. So he is doing he's on target to take the win. And Mark is only going to get slower as this race goes on. I mean, Deontay will eventually start slowing down as well, but the medium pace is just so insane in comparison. Look at the fastest lap, a 1:38.6. Mark is a 1:39.9.
So, lap times, last lap. Yonti did a 39.6 on the nose. Mark did a 40.33, or 34. So he's still gaining, but it's starting to not be as much. And is he going to run out of time, or run out of laps and tyres before we get to that point?
I think Yonti's banking on Mark not having the tyre grip to be able to maintain pace in around about 4 or 5 laps. I mean, have a look at Spice's time to see how he's faring. He's actually getting slower to Mark, and Yonti's closing in on him very quickly.
Oh, Dennis. No damage. That was just pure wheels, somehow. Last lap, Spicy did a 40.9.
6/10 off of Mark, but that's still a full second down on Yonti.
Then again, Francesco did a 40.8. So it swings and roundabouts at the moment. I don't think you can. As I say, I don't think you're going to see final positions really coming into shape until we hit lap 30. It's such a long burner, this race.
Yeah.
Very taxing on the drivers in real life, and I think it'll be quite taxing on the drivers in these cars as well. A few straights and a few sharp, nippy corners for them to work their way around.
Fragioco getting up to the back of Spicy as well at 1.6 seconds. That's all it is right now. Spicy's losing time as well to Mark, and Fragioco's gaining it. So this is actually looking pretty good for the Ferrari driver. Oh wow, that was almost another Ferrari driver going in the back of the Williams, but he's kept himself together just about. No contact between, but that's going to cost him a lot of grip on those tyres. 13 laps in. Yes, he's faster than Duxie B, but at this rate, his tyre wear is going to be tremendous.
I was going to say he's comfortable to the end, but if you do that, you're not going to be too comfortable. I'm just watching that steering wheel, ready to see it snap the other way coming off the corner. That was a bad lap last time out. He will still make it to the end before he hit the magical 70 mark, even if he does laps like that every time. But yeah, so he just needs to calm it down a little bit. He's got plenty of time over Lou. I think Lou must have had an incident. Actually, Lou's coming into the pits. Somehow it's 26 seconds ahead. Must have missed something.
I'm just keeping an eye on Dennis, the way that he's... Oh, again, so twitchy. Almost got in the back of Duxbury as well, kept himself just under control. Honestly, Dennis, you can see how much he wants this. I don't know if he's trying to do it to just prove to himself that he's capable of doing it. I mean, we know he's capable of doing it. It's just it's moments like this where he's pushing so severely hard, it causes him to make mistakes and ultimately risks a DNF potentially.
Yeah, he's right there on the rear. Duxbury still... Let's check ERS levels actually while we're here. Duxbury's on 34, 35-ish, and Dennis is on 80. But there's still finals at the end of the day. Even if Dennis gets past, he's somehow got to pull out a 9-second lead. That's basically catch up to Beaker and pass him type lead.
Yeah.
Beaker, who's sort of just gone a bit stagnant in the last few laps. He's still closing up onto Copy. But yeah, as I said earlier, I don't think Beaker's getting on the podium.
No, not now. There's no way.
No.
I mean, the only way that would fare is if Maranello Baby DNF and
Took
Max
out
and
two
Copy just
drivers.
suddenly lost their tyres. But that's the only way that that's going to happen. I mean, Dennis is still attacking. It's not changed at all. But look at Yonti. He's already near enough in the DRS zone of Fragioco. Bear in mind, he's already in the DRS zone of Spicy. So that's an opportunity to get P2 right there and then. The only then worry is that, look, it's still 12 seconds to Mark. We're still banking on Mark's tyres disintegrating. But this is getting very tense. Here comes Dennis into the inside. Goes massive lock up there between him, but still Duxie B read that and saw I had to go defensive. But Dennis goes back in again. Almost has a pit maneuver on Duxie B, but Dennis is so committed to getting this move done. And ultimately, I think it's all for nothing. He needs to just hold on now. He's running the risk of DNFing and losing a point just to, I don't know, brag?
Don't know. Well, he's going to lose on penalties anyway, so it's all for now.
That's what I'm saying. Is he just
yeah.
trying to overtake just to brag? Is that the only reason he's trying to overtake? Because there's no logical reason for him to stick to the back of Duxie B in 4 laps, 5 if you include the one that they're on right now. He just doesn't have enough pace in order to pull that 9-second lead.
Should Duxby just let him go just in case he has an incident and takes both of them out?
I mean, you never want to let someone go. Ultimately, Duxby, unless he gets properly taken out, then I don't think he has anything to worry about. He can hold him back, and even if he gets damaged, and even if he gets rotated, there's a huge gap from Dennis to Juristav. He doesn't actually have to worry about it, but Max has to worry because his teammate is right on the back of him, has DRS, has lots of ERS, and is right in the slipstream of him as well. Look at this. The pace he's chucking in right now. Max is going to go defensive, and Copy read that and says, nope, not today. Actually, Max, you're going to make a mistake, and I'm going to read that. Oh, he goes right down the switchback, but doesn't quite pull it off. Max has actually got the prime line now because he has the inside line. Copy just couldn't do it, and I think Max, if I saw that correctly, Max actually has right end plate missing, which would mean that Copy is flying.
Yep, right end plate is missing off that Renault. And this is working really well for Beaker. Beaker might actually get a chance to gain a couple more places here. He is on a 3 seconds of penalty, so Copy in front of him has 0. Max has 3, and that could change a lot.
That could be Yonti on the... I mean, the thing that's working against Yonti right now is this. He's stuck behind Fragioco and Spicy. They're 2 drivers that are slow in comparison. I mean, they're doing lap times near enough the same as Mark, but all of this going on is going to hinder him quite considerably. But if Mark has that penalty, it could work out for him. Here comes Yonti looking for Fragioco in towards turn 1. He can't do it. He knows it's just too risky. This strategy won't work if he does a very silly move and gets a penalty for it. Now is the time. Get the exit through this corner. You have to absolutely gun it through. Fragioco's ran deep. That's going to allow Yonti now to just get the slipstream, get the DRS. He's got to go for this.
He's going to go. He's got mode 4, 8%. Spicy's very early on the brakes there. Yonti's coming back in the inside. They're going too wide on the exit. Oh, big nudge there on Fragioco by Spicy. That is Fragioco losing out. And Yonti gains that place. He'll be quite happy with that. I think that might be in the case of Fragioco just went a bit deep into the corner, nudging the back end of Spicy, but it's helped Yonti to no ends as behind. Copy doesn't get past Max, and nor does Beaker. Beaker's coming back at Copy down the inside. Ooh, thought he's going there. He just had to slam the anchors on, and Max is still leading out from Copy, then Beaker for 6th, 7th, and 8th.
Yeah, it was a very ambitious attempt, I think, to go down that inside there. I get why he went there. There was a gap and he sent it, and that makes sense. He didn't pull it off, and you know, no harm done, just time lost. But ultimately, the only battle Beaker really has is this one. He's not going to get another chance on anywhere else unless somebody DNFs, but even then he's already going to gain that anyway. So his sole focus is passing these 2 drivers, trying to just get that P6 position and just sort of lick your wounds after what's happened.
Yeah, he does have 3 seconds penalties to his name. So even if he gets past Copy, he needs to pull away. Max has 6 seconds, so no issues there. It's just getting ahead of Copy is the issue. What's Yonti doing?
Yeah.
Oh, there's Max with another up to 9 now for Max.
So just for the viewers, do we have a quick penalty. In fact, hold that note, because Yonti has now got the line and slipstream on Spicy, and already he is going around him. That's going to be a good move for him. And this is time now. He's only got 2 laps to go. 3 if you include the one that they're on right now, and it's a 13.9 second gap. Take the 3 seconds off and you're looking at, well, 14 seconds now. You're now looking at 11 seconds being the gap between Yonti and Mark after penalties have been applied. But yeah, just if you can very quickly give us a swift penalty rundown.
Absolutely. As you just mentioned, Mark with a 3 second, then Frajeko has a 3 seconds copy, and Max has to drop in places. Oh, I want to watch that, sorry. Max is coming back on the inside there. A copy. Is he going to make that one stick? Too wide. This one could work out well for Beaker. Copy still ahead. No, Max is coming back. Again, too wide coming off the corner. Neither of them giving each other an inch. Max is now in 7th. Copy has this one cemented, but Max is taking advantage of a very deep run there by Copy. And I can't tell who's ahead now.
I think Max has got it again. Yeah, he's got it. Copy's there. Beaker's coming into it as well. He's trying to get a move done. He just can't get it. Copy's lost the back end.
Oh,
That's Beaker through. He's now up in a P7. He's already setting his sights on Max, and this has played perfectly for Beaker now. But he has to get past Max and pull a 3 second gap on Copy, or pressure Copy into making a mistake so that he gets that time penalty.
Yeah, Copy's not the type of driver that normally gets penalties, though. So, will that happen? We'll find out. But quickly, back into the penalties. Just keep an eye quickly before Frajoko has a chance to pass Spicy. 3 seconds for Mark, then 3 seconds for Frajoko, 9 seconds for Max, 3 for Beaker, 0 for Copy Duxie B. Dennis has 9 there in 10th. And then Jurislav has 6 along with Lou. And Frajoko has that DRS, has the slipstream, just hasn't got close enough to Spicy.
No. Max made a little bit of a mistake there going through turn 2. Now gone very deep into turn 3. This is where things are about to get very leery very quickly, as Beaker is going to be attacking Max. DRS wing wide open. Mode 4 engaged on the ERS. Max has got the inside. He's going to be pressing Beaker over to the outside. There was contact between the two, and again, wheels touching. They're going deep into the corner. Max again is trying to hold him back, and he is doing, but they are going to go side by side into this corner. There's contact again.
Beaker.
So much. Beaker just turned in as if Max wasn't even there, it looked like. And I don't think, for once, we can blame Max for that.
No, that's an unusual thing you're going to hear. Not Max's fault.
Copy down the inside of Max. Max is being sent out wide. He's being bullied on this track today. Max just cannot get back through. Copy is in trouble. Max has gone around the outside in the hairpin. Not sure how he's going to be able to get out of this when he isn't. And that's Copy running away with that position a bit now. And Max's tyres are going to be feeling pretty toasty after all of that.
Especially with that front wing damage, don't forget. Copy had to get past Max if he wanted to keep up with Beaker, I think. Oh, Frajoko nearly losing it. Spicy nearly losing it as well. Frajoko is going to come down the home straight and threaten Spicy. He's going to now stick to the racing line. And, well, is Spicy going to concede the position and let him have the DRS? But no, Frajoko is going to have the chance here. Spicy gets a decent drive off the corner. If this is the final lap, Mark is looking like he could have this. Frajoko, there's no room there! That's ending tears, big tears. Where's Marino, baby? Is he coming? Ooh, he's on the brakes. He's on the brakes. Good boy.
I mean, he's through. That's a P3, but that is a big crash. I mean, I don't want to point fingers, but it looked like Spicy just came across Frajoko.
No, there was no
against the wall.
No, Frajoko was nowhere near him. Spicy had it gathered off. Frajoko took a shot at a gap that wasn't there. And is this speaker won't be close enough to get advantage of this. We'll have a look at it. Well, we'll let the stewards have a look at it. I thought 100% on Frajoko. And you know I love the man, so it's hard for me to blame him, but it didn't look like it was Spicy's fault.
I don't know. I mean, from my point of view, Frajoko was alongside Spicy. I think Spicy got caught out with where he was, but I mean, obviously, again, we'll let the stewards decide on that one. That's down to them to do. But Max crossed the line, so he will take that win. The medium strategy almost paid off completely, but it has given Yonti the P2 again. I think he really drove absolutely beautifully, but the one thing that whole strategy required was no traffic. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but Maranello, baby, is really... He needs to go down to the shop and buy himself a lottery ticket because he is looked in hard here, getting a P3. Spicy will cross the line and get the P4, at least for now. Whether or not there's going to be anything afterwards in terms of stewarding is left to be determined. And Beaker
5.
didn't quite pull it off.
No.
Will get a P5, but will
Close.
lose it because Copy will cross the line and take that away from him due to penalties.
Max is going to lose out to Duxie B, actually. Due to Max's penalties, he's now about to lose out. There you go.
Yeah. Jaroslav getting the final point, it looks like, unless he's got more penalties than Lou. Lou's actually in a position where Lou could actually
No,
gain
Lou's got
that
9 seconds.
final... Never mind then. Oh, and he's going towards the wall, but just avoided it.
Front right
yeah.
end plate damage on Lou's car. Kind of why that car's not going where they want it to.
So, I mean, that was actually really quite intense, to be honest. There was a lot of suspense build-up with the strategy from the Haas drivers. I thought they'd pulled off the miracle run, Beak again held up in traffic, and then Yonti, who avoided it in the first stint, and it worked out massively for him, then gets caught up in it in the second stint. But ultimately, that is how it all crumbled out. Mark getting the win. Really, really well done from him to be able to get that position sorted. I mean, he did the strategy I didn't think was going to work out too well in comparison, given he went softs, mediums, hards, I believe. Oh no, he actually went mediums, didn't he? Mediums, hards. So really well done from him. Let's have a look at the rundown though.
Yeah.
There
Well,
we go. So, Mark getting the win up from P3 up to P1 and gets a penalty. And Yonti there P2 after we saw the run that he had to try and pull off. Maranello baby though, P13 up to P3. Spicy, who started on pole, lost down, went down to P4. He would have been P3 had he not had a contact with Fragioco, whose fault is left to be determined by the stewards. Copy there in P5. Beaker obviously tried the strategy, didn't quite work out for him, lost 2 places, falls down to P6. Duxie B P7. Max, who had a really good run in terms of defending and attacking today. I mean, I actually can't fault him in any way. So really good job there by Max. Dennis there, P9. Jaroslav P10 getting the final point, and Lou being the only other finisher as Fragioco had a major crash that resulted in him DNFing and Vexation DNF through, I think, frustration.
yeah, he had a lot of damage vexation, but drive of the day for me goes to Maranello baby. Absolutely did exactly what he needed. Apparently he just worked a 16-hour shift as well beforehand. So he's absolutely
fair
knackered.
play.
Comes home, starts at the back and puts it onto the podium. Great result for him.
And on arguably the hardest track on the calendar.
Well, yeah, one of the hardest, that's for sure.
Yeah. And that's it for the European Racing Series. Thank you, everybody who joined us in the desk. And thank you, Jamie, as always, for commentating with me. You are a lad, and I really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week for more